So today we'll be dealing with the Sainik previous year question paper series. So basically, you'll have questions that are in MCQ format. Okay, make sure that you attend all the questions, and you can in fact calculate your mark at the end of the session. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the first question. Okay, first we have got comprehension passage. Okay. So, okay, in regard with comprehension passage, it basically tests your ability of your understanding of the context, right? So make sure that you read it pretty fast. Okay, at the first time, make sure that you read the passage really fast, and then get back to the questions. If you have any doubts, you can get back to the passage again. Okay, that's the first key point. And then second, make sure that you make down, you jot down or you underline the important points that you get to find in the comprehension passage, right? Like make sure you're able to underline it, or make sure that you get involved with the paragraph to understand it. Okay, so let's move on to the first one. That is the comprehension passage, right? The seven ancient wonders of the world. The ancient Greeks made a list of places that people should see. The list was named the Seven Wonders of the World. Only one of the ancient wonder can be found today in Giza, which is in Egypt. This is the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is one of the three great pyramids built around 2500 BC. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon are another ancient wonder. They are located on the banks of river Euphrates. This area is near Baghdad in Iraq. A king built this garden for his wife. The statue of Zeus was built in Olympia, Greece in 457 BC. This statue was built to honor the Greek god Zeus. The statue was as tall as a four-story building. In addition to Zeus, the Greek built another big statue to honor the Greek sun god Helios. This wonder is known as the Colossus of Rhodes, built around 550 BC. The temple of Artemis at Ephesus was considered the most beautiful structure on earth. Ephesus was an ancient city that was located in what is now called as Turkey. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus was also constructed in Turkey. The only wonder built for practical use was the Pharaohs of Alexandria. This was the lighthouse of the coast of Egypt. It was once the tallest building in the world, right? So make sure that you read the passage. Make sure that you tend to, probably mark down the important points when you get to read. Okay. And then let's move on to the question. Okay. This is one format. And the next one is, if you want to save your time, make sure that you start reading the question first. Okay. So once when you get to read the questions, the keywords, say, let's say which of these true, okay, not true. Okay. So basically the first question is asking about the context that is there in the passage. So when you get to read the options given or the question given, it will, automatically strike when you start reading the passage. Okay. So let's move on to the questions. The first one, which of the following statement is not true, right? Which of it is not true about the passage? Colossus of Rhodes, right? Colossus of Rhodes was built to honor Helios. Okay. So let's let's have a look at the key points that we have marked, right? See, it's here, right? In addition to Zeus, the Greek built another very big statue to honor the Greek sun or the god Helios, right? A very big statue to honor the Greek sun god. So we will eliminate the first point, right? Because it is already present in the passage that has been given above. So the next point is Pharaohs of Alexandria was a lighthouse. See? The only wonder built for a practical use was Pharaohs of Alexandria. This was a lighthouse of the coast of Egypt, right? So we are eliminating the second point as well. So in regard with the third point, the Great Pyramid of Giza was destroyed, right? The pyramid of Giza is given in the first para, but we are not mentioned as of it was destroyed, right? We just get to know that the three gate pyramids were built around 2500 BC, right? So let's keep this point on hold. Okay, let's have a look at the fourth one. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon were built by a king for his wife, right? So here we get to know, right? Hanging Gardens of Babylon are another ancient wonder. They are located on the banks of the river of Euphrates. Okay, this area. Okay, a king built his garden for his wife. Since we are cancelling the fourth point as well. So the right one is the Great Pyramid of Giza was destroyed. As in, this line or this sentence is not given in the above passage. Which of the seven ancient wonders of the world was as tall as a four-story building? Right, as tall as a four-story building. So make sure that you get back to the passage and try to, mark down or spot the important keywords here. Okay, so we get to know. See, look at it. It's here, right? Tall as a four-story building. What is tall as a four-story building? The statue of Zeus, right? The statue of Zeus was built in Olympia, Greece in 457 BC. This statue was built to honor the Greek god Zeus. The statue was as tall as a four-story building. So hence the answer is the statue of Zeus. Okay, make sure that you're able to connect the key point or the keywords and relate it to the passage. Okay, related to the passage. Let's move on to the next question. What is the meaning of the underlined word, the lighthouse of Halicarnassus? Right, the lighthouse of Halicarnassus. What is the purpose of lighthouse in general? Okay, basically guides the ships, right? It's like a tall constructed building, right? It's super tall and it has a light element which keeps rotating, right? It keeps rotating, right? So the right answer is a building to guide the ships, right? That's all in regard with the comprehension passage. Make sure that you read the comprehension passage, okay? Try to mark down the important points, right? Try to mark down the and then get back to the questions, right? So that will be easy for you to answer it right. But there's one more way. Another way is you can start reading the questions first and then you can get back to the passage as well. Okay. Find the way which you feel is comfortable. Okay. So let's move on to the fourth question. That is, fill in the blanks with the appropriate option. My mother advised me to stay dash home, right? My mother advised me to stay in home. No, okay, stay at home, right? It's stay at home. Okay, it cannot be on home or it cannot be for home, right? My mother advised me to stay. Okay, let's have a look at the first question. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate articles. So, what are the articles? We have A and D, right? So basically, what is an article? Article is a word, let's say it's a word or a letter that is used before a noun, right? Before a noun. They specify if the noun is general or specific in its reference, right? Okay, so let's have a look at this sentence. Rakesh is dash excellent science teacher. So we have the word excellent, okay, like after the blanks, and it starts with a vowel, right? A, E, I, O, U, right? These are the vowels, right? And then the rest of the words are called consonants, right? Do you guys agree with me? Consonants. So in regard with vowels, we'll use the word an. In regard with the consonants, we'll use the word a, right? So the answer is an, right? Rakesh is an excellent science teacher, right? Rakesh is an excellent science teacher. So if you have an vowel, right? If the word starts or the begins with a vowel, you will use the word an. If not, you will use the word a. Right now, let's move on to the sixth question. That is, rearrange the following words or phrases to make meaningful sentences by choosing the correct sequence. Okay. So let's have a look at the options. We have waved, she, greeted, and cheerfully, and s. So from this, we get to know that she is the only possible word to begin the sentence, right? Do you guys agree? She is the only possible word to begin the sentence. So we will sort it down to, we'll come down to two options, right? Which begins with B. Okay, which begins with B. So let's give a try. Okay, let's begin with the first option. B, C, D, F, E, A. Right? So she greeted and, right? She greeted and us. Okay, that doesn't make sense, right? So we are canceling this option off. Okay. So let's have a look at the fourth one. She, right? She waved and, right? And greeted us cheerfully, right? She waved and greeted us cheerfully. So this one makes sense, right? So the answer is fourth one, right? B, E, D, C, F, E. She waved and greeted us cheerfully, right? That is the correct option. So let's have a look at the seventh one. Fill in the blanks with the correct option. It was a steep from the hilltop. Okay, so you've been provided with four options. Let's have a look at the first word, DISSENT. So DISSENT is basically like a disagreement, isn't it? It's a disagreement, right? Disagreement, right? Disagreement as in, let's say disagreement with an official or generally with agreed ideas. Okay, so in regard with DECENT, it has more to do with your behavior, isn't it? It's more to do with behavior. Okay, like let's say that that girl or that boy is well mannered, he's very decent, right? As in it refers to your behavior. Let's say you're honest or you're very fair, right? In regard with the word DESCENT, right? It's basically like a movement down to a lower place, right? A movement, right? A movement down to a lower place, right? Lower place. So it says it was a steep dash from the hilltop, right? So we have a hilltop, right? So it's steep, right? So the answer is descent, as in DESCENT, right? That is the right answer. Let's move on to the eighth question. Okay, rearrange the following words or phrases to make meaningful sentences by choosing the correct option. So let's have a look at the options. Snowfall, heavy, the, everything covered. So from this, we get to know that the statement is supposed to begin with the, right? So let's have a look at the options. So we have option 1 and we have option 4. Okay, let's have a look at the first option. CBAED. So that is the snowfall, I'm sorry, the heavy snowfall covered everything, right? It sounds right. It more or less sounds right. Let's have a look at the fourth one. The snowfall heavy covered everything. No, this one doesn't make sense, right? So we'll stick on to the first one, CBAAD. The, right? The heavy, right? The heavy snowfall, right? The heavy snowfall covered everything, right? This one makes sense, right? Okay, so this is the answer. Okay, CBAAD. Let's move on to the ninth one. Choose the correct noun, right? Choose the correct noun. So a dash of soldiers marched into the battleground, right? So in regard with the word T or OUP, it refers to, let's say, like a troop of dancers, right? A troop of dancers, or let's say a troop of actors, right? Right? That's the common term that you use for dancers or actors. But TROOP is, it refers to a large, large group of people in regard with soldiers, right? So the answer is troop. TROOP, right? TROOP is the right answer here. A troop of soldiers marched into the battleground. See, the keyword here is soldiers, right? Keyword here is soldiers. So hence it will be troop, a troop of soldiers, right? A troop of soldiers, a flock of birds, right? Let's have a look at the 10th one. Is she the dash won the prize, right? Is she the girl dash won the prize? Is she that? Is she the girl that won the prize? No. Is she the girl whom won the first place? prize? No. Is she the girl which won the first prize? No. So hence the answer is who, right? Is she the girl who won the first place, right? Who won the first prize? Is she the girl who won the first prize? Let's have a look at the 11th question, right? Identify the type of sentence, right? So you're supposed to analyze what kind of a sentence it is. Let's have a look at the options first. We have declarative sentence. So what is a declarative sentence? A declarative sentence is basically, let's say it states fact, right? States a fact, right? It states a fact, or let's say it conveys any info, right? Conveys info, right? It tends to conveys info. Okay, it tends to convey info. So in regard with the imperative sentence, right? Imperative sentence is basically like a command, right? It's like a command, right? It tells us to do something, right? In regard with the exclamatory, okay, exclamation mark, right? It expresses surprise, right? In regard with the last one, interrogative sentence, it deals with a question, right? It questions, right? It questions. So let's have a look at the sentence. Mohan gave me a 10 rupees note. Okay, Mohan gave me a 10 rupees note. So it is a fact, isn't it? It is a fact. So the answer is declarative, right? Declarative, right? So hence the statement is a declarative statement, right? Because it states a fact, right? The fact as in Mohan has given me a 10 rupee note. Let's have a look at the 12th question. Choose the correct question tag. So in regard with question tag, there are certain rules, okay? Like let's say if the statement is positive, right? The statement is positive, it'll have a negative question tag, right? If the statement is negative, it'll have a positive question tag, right? So that is the basic rule here, right? That is the basic rule here. What is a question tag? It's a subject of the, and moreover, the subject of the tag is always a pronoun, right? So let's have a look at the sentence. You paid the bill, right? So hence it's a positive statement. So the question tag is supposed to be negative, right? So we are canceling the third one because it says will you. Will you is basically a positive question tag, right? So we are canceling it. So we are left with three more options. Won't you, didn't you, doesn't you, right? So from this we get to know doesn't you cannot fit in, right? It doesn't sound grammatically right in regard with the statement, right? You paid the bill, didn't you, right? Did you pay the bill, right? It's the same, right? You paid the bill, didn't you? Okay, so let's move on to the 13th question. Choose the correct verb. The water dashed from the tap last night. So from this sentence, we get to know that this incident had taken place last night, right? Last night. So hence, it's a past tense, right? So let's have a look at the options. We have dripping, drip, dripped, will drip. So hence the answer is dripped, right? Dripped. Because the statement is in past tense, right? It happened last night. Okay. So hence the answer is dripped because it has an addition of ed, right? Past tense, right? Past tense. Let's move on to the next question. Choose the correct spelling. So the word is appointment, right? Appointment, appointment. So we are canceling this one because it has double T, right? Appointment, right? It's not like appointment, right? It's just appointment. Canceling the next one also because it just has one P, right? Appointment. It's not appointment, okay? And we're canceling the third one because it ends with MANT, right? That's not right as well. So we're left with the last option, appointment, right? So we have appoint, right? Appointment, appointment. Meant, right? So hence appointment is the right option. Right answer. The last one is the right answer. So let's move on to the 15th question. A cobbler is a person who dash. Okay, so this question basically deals with one word substitution, isn't it? So what is the work of the cobbler? He basically repairs your footwear, right? He stitches your footwear, he sticks your footwear, right? Repairs footwear, right? So let's move on to the 16th question. Choose the correct adjective, right? Choose the correct adjective here, right? Yesterday was the dash day of a trip. Most was no. More was no. Worst maybe. Worse? So worse. Okay, we'll end up with worse. Yesterday was the worst day of our trip. Right? Yesterday was the worst day of our trip. Let's move on to the 17th one. Choose the correct option closest to the meaning gigantic. So what is gigantic in general? It's something that is huge, right? It's very big, right? Let's say let's say the Titanic ship is very gigantic, as in it's very big, right? So we'll end up with the answer very big. Let's move on to the 18th question. Choose the word nearest in the meaning to the underlined word. There was a momentous moment in the cricket, right? So we are dealing with synonym here, right? Synonym, right? We're dealing with synonym here. We have insignificant, no. Momentous is basically something, it's like very important, okay? Very important. So it's not insignificant. It's not something that isn't, it's not sudden, right? There was a sudden moment in the cricket match? No. There was an abrupt moment in the cricket match? No. So important, okay? Momentous is something, that's very important, okay? So let's have a look at the next one. Choose the option that is opposite. So opposite as an antonym, right? Antonym. Earlier. So the word given is earlier. Earlier as in something that had happened before, right? Earlier or before is almost the same, right? So before, after, or later, right? So the answer is later. Later. Okay, later. So let's move on to the 28th question. Choose the opposite of literate. What is literate? A person who is educated, right? Educated. So the opposite is illiterate, right? It's not unliterate. It's definitely not deliterate, right? It's not misliterate as well. So the answer is illiterate, right? Illiterate, literate, illiterate. Let's move on to the 21st question. Seeing the wounded bird, she dashed her mother. Like wounded bird, right? We have ed, so it's past tense, right? Seeing the wounded bird, she called her mother, right? She called her mother, right? Because the sentence is in past tense, right? If it had been in past participle, right? Or if it had been in present participle, you would have said was calling, right? Or calling. Let's move on to the 22nd question. You're supposed to identify the adverb, right? What is adverb in general? Adverb basically modifies the meaning of a verb, right? Modifies the meaning of a verb. So the doctor will see you later, right? When will the doctor see you? He'll see you later, right? So hence, later is the adverb here, okay? Adverb modifies the meaning of a verb, right? Modifies or changes the meaning of the verb, right? So the word is later. Answer is later, right? Let's move on to the 23rd question. Choose the appropriate option. All my friends are good natured. As they say, birds of a feather dash together. Just in case if you guys didn't know, it is an idiom, right? Birds of a feather flock together, right? Birds of a feather flock together, right? In regard with birds, we usually tend to use flock, right? Flock, right? Let's say a troop of soldiers, a flock of birds, right? So the answer is, let's move on to the 24th question. Choose the incorrect pair. Knife, knives. Yeah, it's right, right? Women, women. Yeah, it's right. Deer, deer, right? Deer, deer. Okay, mouse, mouses. No, right? Because the plural of mouse is, right? Plural. What is the plural of mouse? It's mice, isn't it? It is mice, M-I-C-E. So hence, Fourth one is the incorrect option, right? Fourth one is the incorrect pair. Let's move on to the last question, right? Manjeet cannot drive dash. He has a license. Okay. So you're supposed to state the correct conjunction here. What is conjunction? Conjunction basically is like it combines two sentences, right? Right? Conjunction is a word that combines two sentences or it connects, right? Manjeet cannot drive. He has a license. If he has a license, no. Unless he has a license, right? Unless because it connects the sentence, right? Manjeet cannot drive if he has a license, no. Manjeet cannot drive unless he has a license. Although he has a license, no. Manjeet cannot drive, yet he has a license, no. So the answer is unless. Okay. So the make sure that you guys are aware of what an adjective is, what an adverb is, what a noun is, right? The basic grammar rule, right? Okay. So that's all with the questions today. Okay. So if you have any more queries, you can please contact the National Defense Institute. Okay. The phone number is given below, right? The phone number is given below 9150981462. Okay, you can contact the phone number or the email ID is given below, right? info@nationaldefenseinstitute.in. Or you can even check out the website www.nationaldefenseinstitute.in. Okay, so for further queries, please contact the institute. Okay, and thank you for watching. Make sure that you like and stay subscribed to the channel. Okay, thank you.